All right, Sumit, which one would you like? And I just repaired him. Google destroys hyperlinks. So hopefully everything works. Okay, given two reference variables T1 and T2. If T1 equals T2 is true, T1 dot equals T2 must be... Yes, good. Okay, remember that this is checking references, so if they're pointing to the same place in memory, then yes, they are the same object. So if you said equals, then they will be equal. So, okay, so if they're pointing to the same place in memory, and let me make sure. Oh, I know, I didn't. I ran it. I was gonna do that, and then Google messed up all my hyperlinks. It was a giant mess. I deleted Windows on my computer, so I don't have PowerPoint at home. So I did the Google Slides, and it looked like everything was great in Google Slides, and then when I open it in PowerPoint, it doesn't support hyperlinks. I need to get Windows again, I guess. Edgar is... Is Edgar here today? He's not here, right? Okay. Christopher. Okay, which one do you want? Okay. Oh, and it didn't change it black. Am I going to have to write down? Okay, I'm going to have to write down then. This is going to be annoying. Okay. We'll have to keep track. Hey, this is actually related to the other one, but it is different. Okay. Given two reference variables T1 and T2, if T1 dot equals T2 is true, T1 equal T2. Yeah. Well, you have A, B, or C. It was. Hopefully it's linked to the right place. False? Yes, it is false. And does everyone realize why this one's false? Because they could be pointing to two different places in memory and have the same value. Okay, the objects could be equal, but they could be pointing to two different places. Oh, it's sometimes true, though. Because they could have the same value. They could be pointing to the same place. That was under array list, so let's hope that was correct. See, Chursa is back there. All right. Maybe I did put the, oh, whatever. Hopefully it's not the wrong way. All right. So we have some code that looks like this. This is actually from our first level programming course. And you do have an A, B, or C here. And so let's see here. We're making a new string, and then we're changing that string to uppercase and putting it inside of string 2. And then what will it output? So in other words, are they equal, are they equals, or are they something else? And that is true. And does everyone realize why? When it changes it to uppercase, do I have different contents? Oh, I just put the wrong A there, but it is C. Okay. In fact, we can escape and like change that to C. Oh, you know why? Because it changed it to a bullet for me. I think when I opened it in Google, it kind of ruined a lot of things. But they are different because when you do two uppercase, it returns a separate string reference. Okay, so it is a different reference. So that was Chursa Vane gets a point. And actually, De Soto got points. Next up, Blanca. Which one would you like? All right, so here's an array list question. So we created an array list. We have some strings, and we're adding them. And then we're seeing if those two objects were equal to each other with equal equals, and then we're seeing if those two objects are equal to each other with the equals. So what do you think our output? Remember that your output to a Boolean statement is true or false. Well, in your output, so this output here will be true or false, and then this output here will be true or false, right? Because those are Boolean statements. So it's, in other words, you know, are they equal equals? And then are they equals? Remember, equal equals is checking references, right? Do you think the first one's true and the second one's false? And actually, it's the opposite. Yeah, it's false is true. And the reason being is they are different references because they're two different objects. Okay, so it stores them as different references. And remember, the equal equals is checking the reference. And then the equals is checking the actual values, and the values are equal. Okay. All right. Yeah, the equal equals checks where they're pointing in memory, and then equals checks their actual values. Okay, Gustavo. He is where? Oh, there you are. Usually you sit over here. So. Okay, which one do you like? And I know they're not lit up, but I'm writing down which ones we've chosen. How much? Array list for one? Okay. All right, invoking blank returns the number of the elements in an array list X. Got 25% chance here. Which one? Is that B as in boy? It is D, size. So the collection classes use size. Arrays use the word length, and then collection classes, they all use the word size. Okay? And you know what happened is, and I'll have to go back and change that. It changed all my bullets probably to A when I copied and pasted them. And I think Google did that. I edited it in Google today, thinking it would be okay. Now I know better. I just need to reinstall Windows again. Is Miguel here? Oh, yes, Miguel. So, Which one would you like? Okay. You guys are doing good at not picking the same ones. All right, so we have string S equals university. S dot replace I with ABC. What is it going to print out? As in boy? Yeah, you guys have to say B as in boy or D as in dog, okay? Which one?
Is that a comma after I? Inside the place?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's D.
As in?
Boy.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Okay, so note that the replace command for a string, it's a string method, right? Replaces all the I's with whatever you want it to. All right. That was right. Okay, let's get the next person as I'm writing points here. Okay, Anthony is here today, I think. Anthony, do you want one?
What?
Do you want one or not? Okay. Okay, Pedro is there. Okay, cool. I'll need that. Okay, which one would you like? Okay, so we have some code that looks like this. And there's something wrong with it. You can see the red underline. What do you think, Pedro? Okay, no discussing. Okay, what do you think? Anything?
The public shouldn't have void. It should just be public its method in itself.
No. Does anyone else want to take this one? Eric, what do you think?
Is it because that's a public method and it's trying to call upon a private variable?
That's part of it.
It's
What do you need? What do you need to call that method? You have to have.
an instance method, shouldn't it? No?
It is an instance method. So what do you need to call an instance method?
It needs an object.
You need an object.
So that's, you're trying to use like the tester and the object at the same time. You need the object and the tester separate. That should be an object, right?
It doesn't have to be separate, but you have to make a new test object to call that method. So you have to say test, my test equals new test, and then say my test.x method. So the object has to call the method.
Alright,
So good. So an object of type test needs to call that method because it's not static and because it uses instance variables, it can't be static, right?
yeah.
Yeah, if it uses an instance variable, you can't make it static because it doesn't make sense to use an instance variable of an object that's not there, you know.
You
So.
replace public void with like private.
No, you have to make an object inside of main. So you would put test, my test equals new test, and then my test.x method.
So you have to run a test for it.
You could run it in here, but you have to make an object of type. Like the line of code that goes right here and here would look like, and I know it's kind of dark, but hopefully you guys can see this. You can call them whatever you want. So you have to construct him, right? Because that's the name of our class. We have to construct an object of type test. And then you use that object to call the method. Okay, like that. Okay? All right. All right. And you can't make him static because it does use that instance variable inside the method. My videos are all of the wall. Come here. It needs something other than the technology they're using right now to like find it. You guys can invent something better. Cool. So Bruce. I saw Bruce here today. Which one would you like? Okay, cool. Haven't selected that one yet, according to my paper. All right, which of the following are object types? Is that your final answer? Just kidding. Those are correct ones, but there's one more. What other one's an object?
A, B, and B.
Yeah, it is A, B, and D. Okay. And note why, because this is a string. And note that we can initialize strings without the new operator. We can initialize them this way. And then whenever you see the new operator, that should signal to you that that's an object. Okay? And then the only weird kind of one, because strings are used so very often, you can get away without using the new operator explicitly. Okay. Let's get the next person. Okay, Josh. Which one would you like? Okay, so stuff you should know 1 through 4 has been picked, and array list 1, 2, 4, and 5 have been picked. For 1? Okay. Actually, there's only one part missing. The important part that you should know. What do you think? Okay, you should know this one. Everyone should know this one. What do you think? Okay, what is it, guys? What is it? Compiler. Yes. And what's the name of our compiler? If you look at the file name, Java C. If you go and look inside of your bin, it's Java C. Okay. And you guys should all know that. Remember, when we compile, we make Java bytecode. All right, Steven, what do you think? What do you think, Steven? Which one do you want? Oh. Oh, Steven Johnson. Where's Steven Johnson? He was here earlier today. Oh, he's not even here. I knew that. And Brian. So which one, Brian, do you want? Cool. All right. Which of the following statements are true? A default constructor is provided automatically if no constructors are explicitly declared in the class. Is that one true? Yeah, you could say.
Okay, that is true.
Yes, it is true. At least one constructor must always be defined explicitly. That means written out.
Oh, that's false.
Yeah, that's false, because if you don't make any, it makes one for you, right? Every class has a default constructor.
That's true.
If you make a constructor that's not the default constructor, it no longer will make the default constructor for you. Yeah. And then the default constructor is a no-arg constructor. No argument, no parameters.
Also, one that makes that
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That is true. I think you get a couple points. That was a 3-pointer. You got one wrong. And note that this one, every class does have a default constructor. Unless you make a constructor that's not the default, then it won't make any more. It won't make it for you. Okay? And you had the other one as false. So. And Xavier is right. Oh yes, you. Okay, and then which one would you like? Yeah, array list for 3 is still open. You want that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Suppose array list X contains 2 strings, Beijing and Singapore. Which of the following methods will cause the list to become Beijing, Chicago, Singapore?
I think C. Yeah. We'll go C.
Yes, it is C. Good job. Yay. So note that when there's 2 adds, there's one that'll just add it and it adds it to the end of the list. Then there's the second overloaded add method that'll add to that index. So good job. It'll add to index 1. And yes, it changed my bullet. Okay. I'll have to repair those before I post them. It's because I copied and pasted and... Oh wait, I'd write that down. Okay, Nathan is here today. Oh, he's sitting over there. Okay, which one would you like? All of array list has been taken, actually.
Stuff you should know for
5. Okay, yep, that one has not been taken. All right. Add the static keyword in the place of the question marks if appropriate. So do we get a static here? Do we get a static here? Do we get a static here? Actually, the last one you could have a static in the last one. So first 2 good, yes. Main is always static because we don't have an object call it, and it doesn't use. Remember, if something is static, it means an object does not have to call it, and it does not use instance variables. The second one, it accesses the instance variable, so it cannot be static. This third one, it does not use an instance variable, so it could use static. It doesn't have to, but it could. So that's why that one was a 5-pointer. Actually, I think you get a couple of points for that, right? All right, Eric. Which one would you like?
Design for 4 points.
4? Okay. Cool. So we have this class, and it looks like a lot of code, but it's really just a regular class, okay? Notice it has a constructor, some accessors, mutators, an equals, and a toString, so it's just a regular old class. Okay. And then we have our main over here, and so we make a new object, and then we print them out, and the question is, what's going to print out?
Very
good.
His name, gender, and his age, right? That's age right there?
Yeah, so that's what I was checking for, if you knew that it called the toString method.
But it did.
It does. Remember that an object in system.println inherently calls the toString method. So you said that. Now, what would it print out for his name, gender, and age?
Trying to find, I can't really see, but John Doe, I think that's male, right?
Yeah.
M, and then 40.
Okay, good.
Age 40.
And that was the second thing we were checking for in here, is you knew that it called the default constructor and set the instance variables to those values. Okay? So note that when you make a new object with the default constructor, those values are set here. And when you print out the object, that it calls it toString method. So that's what that was checking. Yes. Okay? Cool. So everyone should know that one. Cody. Okay, cool. All right, is there anything wrong with this code? And if there is, you have to tell me what's wrong with it. And if there isn't, you have to tell me why there isn't. What do you think, Cody?
Radius doesn't have a value assigned to it.
There, very good, yes. That was like the perfect answer, actually. Radius, the instance variable, doesn't have a value assigned to it. And do you know why? Or what you would have to fix here? Do you know how to fix it?
You can just assign any number like 0 or something to it.
You could, but this constructor takes in that radius. But how can you fix this code in here? Do you remember how Eclipse fixes it? You got it mostly right. You got it mostly right. How would you fix it, everybody? How would you fix it? Yeah, you have to put the this keyword in there. So when you name your parameter the same name as your instance variable, like how Eclipse does for us, you have to put the this keyword here. Otherwise, it doesn't differentiate, and it just sets this radius, this parameter radius, to itself and doesn't ever actually set the instance variable. Okay? So it lets us write code like this that does nothing. So if you wanted to fix it, you'd put the this keyword right here. Or change the name of the parameter to like R or something. Okay? So yeah, the program will compile, but you can't create an object of type circle with a specified radius because that radius isn't set. The radius will have a default value of 0 always because we didn't give it a value. So. There's Stephen Allen. Okay. Stephen Allen, which one would you like? How much?
2.
Okay. Yep, 2 has not been selected. You guys are doing good at remembering what's been selected. All right, what does the default constructor look like for the following class definition? Actually, this one we should write on the board. Or I guess you could tell me. You can write it on the board if you want. Oh. Does anyone want to try this one? It's how many points? 2 points. It's really easy. It's a whole question on your test. You have to come up here and write on the board, actually. Here. Everyone should know what this guy looks like.
Oh, it's in my book.
Yeah, exactly. Does anyone want to do this one? Come on. Yeah, you get to have the points, of course. Eric's racking them up. He already has like 6.
See over there?
Yeah, you can do it over there. Default constructors are the easy ones.
And it's just,
Oh.
hold on.
Anyone else want to try? Brian wants to try? Okay, cool. Here, we'll have a race.
This part.
It's a challenge.
Exactly. You get the little space. There we go. That is correct. And then you could set them if you wanted to.
Really?
Oh, you want me to set the whole thing?
No, you don't have to put private. You just put name equals. Remember? Yeah, but it'll be name equal, John or something.
Can't remember what you put in the parameter. Just can't.
There you go. That's better. You better put male there. And it's hard to see. We need a flashlight. Oh, he got it right. We'll say he got it right. Good job, Brian. How many points was that one? Oh, okay.
Wait, so did we both get it?
I don't know. What did
'Cause
you
I
got
had
over
it,
there?
I just didn't have.
Oh.
I thought there were parameters that were supposed to go in there.
Just remember that it does not have a return type. I saw you had a return type, and I was like, oh. Dang it. So constructors have no return types. Remember, they're special kind of methods with no return types. Well, no explicit return types. They do return a reference. And then they're always public. They're always the same name as the class. And then the default constructor has nothing in the parentheses. So if our class is called human, then the constructor is called human. So it's the only method that'll be capitalized. And then the default constructor just sets the variables to something that's default. It could set it to a blank string. Brian set his name to Brian, which was fine. Okay, you just set it to some default values. Okay. And we all should know that. All right, Tulsi. What do you think? What do you want? For how much? Okay. Because 1 has been taken, now 3. All right. Which of the following methods override the equals method? So if you hit that button in Eclipse, write my equals method, it writes this one. Which one do you think? C? All right. Anyone else? I guess this one's kind of unfair. Remember that when you're overriding the equals method, you're overriding the equals method from the object class. So it makes sense that this would be object in here, right? And the equals method returns true or false, so you know that it should have a return type Boolean. Okay? That's how I kind of always think of that one, right? So it will be the one that returns type Boolean that does take an object. Because you're overriding it, it has to have the same type of parameters. Okay? We're getting fewer names. And Drew is... All right, cool. You had that one planned out. And Java knowledge has not been taken for 5. Good. Oh, we have to put it in slideshow mode here. All right. And actually, I left this one in here from our first level programming class. So we'll see if you can get it. It's just a while loop with some variables in it. So it's just reading code. What do you think in the back?
Is it 0, 3, 6, 9?
What do you think, Jose?
There's 3?
No.
3, 6, 9.
Cody, what do you think?
It's not going to output anything. It's just going to keep running.
Right. Is number ever... Now look at the Boolean check. Number greater than or equal to 0 or numbers less than 10. So number can be anything. It's just going to keep going. What should the or should probably be an and or something. And then it would fail eventually. The or statement makes it true for everything. Okay. It's an infinite loop. That's why that one's a 5-pointer. Okay. 1. What do you think? Yeah.
I don't know which one that which one.
Well, pick one and then I'll tell you. All of the stuff you should know has been chosen. All the array lists. All of object-oriented design except one. The 1-pointer. The 1-pointer? Okay. All right. An object is an instance of a...
Class?
It is a class. Yes. So I'm going to say, if we don't get the 1-pointers, we're in trouble. It is a class. Remember, we make our classes, and then we make instances of our classes. All right. Mark Lopes. Lopez. Mark Lopez is not here, right? Okay. And then Michael. Which one would you like?
Java knowledge 2.
I was going to say we almost are ready to change. All right, every class has a toString method and an equals method. And that's true or false? And it is true. Why is it true? Does anyone know why it's true? Because we inherit them from the object class, right? Every class that we make extends the object class, and the object class has a toString and equals method. So everyone has one. That's why when we write them, we have to override them. Robert Overton. And no one has chosen the middle aisle at all.
I'll do it. I'll reference it for 2 points.
Okay, cool. I think it's the name I gave that guy. Okay, does the string class implement the comparable interface? (50-50) here.
I think so. I put it down.
Don't say I think so. Say yes. Just be for sure. Be sure of your answer, right? Is it a yes?
Yes.
Yes, it is true. And then what does this mean? I'll still give you your 2 points, but what does it mean? Hopefully you know what it means. Hopefully everybody knows what it means. It means they are... Does anyone know what it means? That's not good. Drew, what does it mean? Right, they're comparable. You can compare them. And how come we can compare them? We can use which method? If we implement the comparable interface, we have written the which method? Right, the compare to method. Good, Blanca, yes. When you Dulce. I heard it from that direction. Good job, Dulce. Yeah, when you implement the comparable interface, it means you wrote the compare to method. We did that in class. Evidently, we need to do that more. But so then it can be sorted. You can do different things with it. All right, Kyle Jackson. Which one would you like? And actually, do you want to go to the new PowerPoint? Let's go to the new one. Actually, the categories are sort of the same. There's different questions. So actually, you can pick any of them. Huh? Okay. Cool, right in the middle. All right, so we have this program that looks like this. And you just have to tell me what it does. Yes. Good. It prints out number is 7 and then count is 1. Good. And do you see what it's doing? So it makes that constructor. It constructs this object. Goes up here. It makes number 5 count 1. And then it calls this method do something. So it comes up here. But it makes a new local variable called number, which actually will take the precedence over the instance variable. So it will print 7 and then it prints its count instance variable as 1. Very good. Excellent. Jackson. Okay, Kushpreet. We'll pick the second one here. Which one would you like?
Stuff you should know 3.
Okay. All right. This one is a little bit different than the other one. I know there's another one that looks like this, but this one is setting it, the second string equal to the first string right here. And then it adds something onto the first string. And so remember that the equal equals is pointing to the same place in memory. Right, good. Very, very good. This one was a little bit tricky. Okay, so here we're pointing them to the same place in memory, but when we concatenate this new string, it makes it point to a different string in memory. Because strings are what's called immutable. You can't change a string. You only can make a new string and point the string to a new string. Okay, so good. Excellent. I'm glad you got that one. And that one was a book question, actually. All right, Giovanni.
Array list for 5.
Cool. Let's hope it's an array list question. Oh, yes, it is. Okay. This is actually a book question, too. Suppose an array list contains, and then it has red, red, green, blue, red, black. So it's an array list of strings. What is the list after the following code? Counting on you getting it.
Just going to remove the first red one. First red.
It does remove the first one. Remember, we're in a for loop here. Erases all the ones that say red.
That was a trick question. So why does it say I minus minus?
It started from the end of the list and goes to the front of the list. So it's just, this is actually a book question. So it's iterating through the list, but it just started at the end and goes to the front. So it started at the ending index and goes to the first index, 0. It looks at everybody in the list, so it does iterate through your list one at a time. It starts with black, then goes to red, blue, green, red, red. And every time that equals, so every time it finds something that equals red, equals the same string, then it removes them. So it does remove all the red. So then your array list would look like green, blue, and black. Okay.
So it's arrays that do the whole, like, you have like a 3 on, like a number removed from the inside, and there's a 3 at the end, it'll move over and have 2 3s at the end. That's only in arrays.
Yeah, array list, when you remove it, it takes it out and then moves everybody else down.
Because they're adaptable, right?
Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah, I need to improve my pictures there. Matthew. Oh, wait. We're going on this one, right? Yes. So which one would you like?
Over radius.
Okay. You can create an array list using 25% chance here. It is C. Good. Yes. So remember, array lists use a constructor to create themselves, and they have to use the new operator. So good. Yeah, so you have to use the new operator and a constructor to create an array list object. Very good. Okay, Juan is here, yes. Which one would you like? For 3, yet we have not chosen that one yet. All right, this is a book. Whenever you see the white, that's actually a test question. I pulled out a test. All right, so it's making a new array list, and they put the java.util.arraylist in his code, but note that's the same thing as importing java.util and then just writing array list. Okay? So I thought we should see that code anyway since the book was using that. But he creates a new array list called list. You can see it, right? And then he does the list to add. Actually, it would insert all 3 of those. It'd be New York, Atlanta, and Dallas. And the reason being is that they're two objects and they're pointing to the same place in memory, so they're actually the same array list. When two objects point to the same place in memory, they do point to the same object, and so when you change one object, it inadvertently changes the other. Okay? Just like strings. Strings are objects. And Richard is back there. Yep, there he is. He is here today. Good. Which one would you like?
Over array list for one, open?
Yes, he is. He is now taking. All right, object-oriented programming allows you to derive new classes from existing classes, and this is called... What do you think? I hear somebody say. What do you think, Richard? Take a whack at it.
See?
No, which one is it called? I heard Justin saying it. Yeah, it is inheritance. Good, yes. Okay. So yeah, when you yeah, you get that point. All right, Matt Davis is here still. Good.
Java knowledge for 5.
Right on. Okay. We got some code going on here. And the top one just has line numbers next to it. Okay. But is there anything wrong with this code? Actually, this should have been the 5-point array list question. Okay, what do you guys think? Does anyone else want to take this one? There is something wrong with the code. And it's in line 4 that it would have a problem. What do you think? Anyone? It won't be able to sort it. And why won't it be able to sort it? How's it going to know how to sort it? How does it know how to compare things? Yeah, there's nothing, there's no method that says equals or compare in here, so it doesn't know how to sort things. And so when you tell it to sort it, he's going to be, well, I don't know how to sort fruit. Okay? So we'd have to tell it how to sort the fruit. So you'd have to have a compare to method in here, right? Yeah. Because the fruit class doesn't implement the comparable interface, and they can't compare things. You don't have a compare to method. Okay. All right. But that's why that one was 5 points. But that was some good. And Yesenia is not here anymore, I don't think. Yes. Okay, Justin, which one would you like? Right on. Okay. All right. What does the following method call return? I bet you could guess. Well, it does work. That's a hint. This code does work. It does actually return something. It is. If you've seen these numbers before. Does anyone want to try this one? Drew, what do you think?
Isn't it 16 and it starts off with the data table for all of the values?
It's in base 16. What does 1 be in base 16? 1 in the 16's place plus b in the 1's place. Huh? So b in the 1's place, so a is 10, b is 11. 11 plus 1 in the 16's place, 11 plus 16. Yes, it will return 27. So the parse int method is overloaded, that it'll take a string as a hexadecimal value in the first parameter and then the base number in the second parameter. So if it's a base 16 number, that's how you would feed that in there. So it does give you 27. And that's why that one was 5 points. You'd have to know your base 16s. Right? That was an easy base 16 number, though. 1 in the 16's place, that's easy. And there is no Stephanie anymore, right? No, I don't think so. Jose was here. Is he still here? Oh, there you are. Okay. Which one do you want?
I'll try object oriented design for the pod.
Okay, cool. All right, what's wrong with this code? How many points was this one, actually? 5? What do you think? Just another book question, actually. We're not doing so good on the book questions here. So there's only a couple places where something could go wrong with the code. Actually, only one little place that something could go wrong. What do you think? Does anyone want to take it? Steven, what do you think? T is not initialized. And what else is wrong with T? There's something else wrong with T, too. It's private. Okay, what else is wrong with T? It's an instance variable. You need to create an object. You got to construct it. Then you got to use the object to call it. Yeah, so, yeah. And he's non-static. If he was static, then maybe you could do something with him, but... Cool. All right, Karen Deep is still here. Good. Which one would you like?
Stuff that you know for 4 points.
And I don't think anyone has picked that yet. All right. I bet you could guess this one. We didn't formally go over UML diagrams, but your book did. Chapter 10 or Chapter 9. What do you think the plus sign is? It kind of makes sense that it would be this as opposed to a minus sign. Starts with a P. do you think? So UML diagram, you guys know a UML diagram, right? I don't think we formally went over this in class, but there's a description of your class, so they have all your methods in there. They have what they return, what their parameters are, and then if they are what do you think? Just take a guess. The opposite, actually. It means that they're public. So remember that most of our instance, especially the constructor, it has to be public. If it was private, we couldn't construct anything. Yeah. So yeah, the plus sign means we're public. We should have known that one anyway, right? No, it's John. I always like to do that one anyway. Is John here today? Did he leave? I think he's not even here today. Dang it. All right. He was here, huh?
If he was, he probably want refer to it for 5 points.
Okay, let's do that
I'm
one.
just saying.
Did we pick that one? I think we picked that one.
Or maybe Java knowledge for 3 points. I'm just, I really don't think the whole class.
Hey, that's a good one. It's a true or falser.
Oh.
All methods in an interface are abstract. That means they're not written out. That means they're not implemented. Remember that they have them there, but there's nothing in the guts of them. We have to write the guts.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So they're abstract. All right. What time is it anyway? Actually, yeah, I think that's a good place to stop here. Actually, so I'm gonna stop the recording here. Actually.